If you want to learn about the American Heart Association's upcoming Heart Ball, stay tuned to Carolina People, coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Lakewood Camping Resort in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 9th annual Heart Ball, which is coming up here soon on the Grand Strand. And we're visiting with the Heart Ball's auction chairman, Todd Harms. Todd, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for the invitation. Incredible
opportunity to highlight the Heart Ball and the thrill that goes in each year into preparing for the Heart Ball and getting some spectacular auction items together to one of the big fundraisers, I guess, for the Heart Ball itself is actually the auction.
Absolutely.
Can you tell the viewers a little about the auction and what goes on at the Heart Ball each year?
We like to think the Heart Ball is the premier black tie event here on the Grand Strand, and it's just an opportunity to come out and have a good time, see and be seen. The auction itself is an opportunity for area businesses to donate to fundraising for the American Heart Association.
Definitely. Definitely. Todd, real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
I'm not. I've lived in Myrtle Beach for 5 years now.
Are you from the Carolinas?
I am. Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, really? Great. Okay. Well, that's, of course, with the viewing, a lot of the viewers up in the PD area, and even folks in North Carolina have ties to South Carolina State Capitol.
Sure.
That's great. How long have you been, excuse me, I didn't mention earlier, you were the vice president with Carolina Trust Federal Credit Union.
Yes.
How long have you been with the credit union?
Also for 5 years.
Is that right?
I was recruited here, and I'm now the vice president of sales development and human resources. So.
You're the vice president of sales development and human resources.
That's right.
What exactly does that entail?
Really just promoting the credit union's products and services, and then the people side of things with human resources, hiring, employee retention, this sort of thing.
For viewers who may not have familiarity with the credit union, how does a federal credit union differ from a bank?
Credit unions are different from other financial institutions in that we are not for profit. And so the money that we make is reinvested in our membership with lower loan rates or higher investment rates, new products and services, this sort of thing. The biggest change in the last year has been that we are a community charter, and anyone who lives, works, or worships in Horry and surrounding counties is eligible for membership now.
Todd, where are y'all's offices?
We have 2 offices here in Myrtle Beach, 21st Avenue North, and in Surfside. We also have locations in Conway, Johnsonville, and Lake City.
Is that right? Pretty wide area there.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're growing all the time.
And you're involved in all those areas?
Yes.
Golly. Todd, how did you first become involved in working with the American Heart Association?
Smaller events and smaller roles, walking in the Heart Walk, just raising money, selling hearts, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then as I got more and more involved, I was invited to serve on the board. So it's a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Are you and your colleagues involved in supporting other charities in the area?
We do some other things with Children's Miracle Network, Junior Achievement, these kinds of things.
Why do you think you've chosen in particular to work on behalf of the Heart Association? Obviously, getting involved is one thing, but staying on or remaining, volunteer is such a big word, and this is really a volunteer activity. Obviously, you've got a group that's willing to give you some time to get out and volunteer, to get on shows like this, to talk about your involvement with the Heart Association, why it means so much. But why do you think you've remained so involved?
Well, first of all, I think the credit union kind of empowers me to do so. We really make a priority of reinvesting into the community. More importantly, my father suffers from heart disease, and so it's a great opportunity for me to give back. I know when he was first diagnosed and first went into the hospital and began to receive treatment, the care, the technology is just incredible, and I want to support that. And the best way I know to do that is to help out with the American Heart Association.
And to help out, you have, Todd, to think about your involvement last year with the Heart Ball as the auction chairman and signing up a second year. I don't know if this is this your second year as the auction chairman, or you done it before last year?
No, this is the second year. So.
I think Jennifer, who's coming on next, is also serving as the chairperson for a second time.
She is, and we're very excited about that.
Incredible effort there. What role will you be playing in the 2003 Harp Ball in that capacity as auction chairman?
Well, first and foremost, just to kind of recruit area businesses again. And really last year we kind of went outside the area and called on others to support, the Grand Strand. So that was, I think, a different thing for us. But just going out and securing items, whether it be artwork or different types of events. We've had some great items in the past, and we hope we'll continue that trend this year.
Very definitely. And of course, there's a PD area Harp Ball. There's the Waccamaw Division Harp Ball where you're in Georgetown County. There's Harp Balls in all regions around not only the Carolinas but around the country. Do you have a fundraising goal for the auction this year, Todd?
Absolutely. Last year, our goal was $40,000. And we exceeded that. I'm excited to report. We raised roughly $42,000. So this year, I'm comfortable saying we're gonna try and top 50,000.
Great.
Make it an even 50.
Absolutely. Let's top it again. What about some of the items that viewers could see if they came to the Harp Ball this year?
Sure. We've got our regular people that we've come to depend on, people that contribute every year, and those would include some of the artists, some of the creative minds here on the Grand Strand. Mm-hmm. Mike Smith at the Collectors Cafe is always a big contributor, and some of the artists that he displays there at Collectors. We've got, in the past, we've had a sailing cruise complete with brunch. That was an item that was well received. This year, we're most excited about kind of our crowning item so far is a jet ski. Mm. And that's donated by Chris Wilson Chevrolet. And he, just in the last year, has become a great supporter. Donated a four-wheeler last year, and so we're very excited about
Britt Wilson Motorsports is Cracker Jack. That's a great opportunity to get them supporting again this year. It's
Absolutely.
Huge. What kind of auction items are you looking for?
We found that, something a little unusual, something that hasn't been, it's always a risk, but it's a lot of fun. We found last year that there were certain items that we'd not offered that we kind of came upon that were very well received, and we want to kind of continue to branch out, do some things for the guys. In the past, we've had art, and we've had home decorating items and these kinds of things. We tried to focus a little bit on the men in our audience last year, and it worked out well for us. Some fishing trips and hunting trips, things like that.
Todd, we need to wrap up, but if a business or an individual wanted to donate an item or wanted to help this year in the Harp Ball,
sure,
in a volunteer capacity, how would a viewer go about getting in touch with you or the Heart Association? Who would they need to contact?
We'd love to hear from them. They can call me at my office at 843-448-2133. My direct extension is 494, or they can call the office of the American Heart Association. That number is 843-626-3939.
You heard Todd Harms Alfred, not only as the auction chairman this year, but also after a very successful last year. Goal was $40,000 last year. They exceeded it at $42,000. This year the goal is $50,000. We hope they exceed it well beyond that. You got his direct extension, or you can call the Heart Association at 843-626-3939 if you want to donate an item or donate your time. Todd, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg.
Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Lakewood Camping Resort in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 9th Annual American Heart Association Heart Ball, and we're visiting with Jennifer Watson, a permanent charge nurse at the Coronary Care Unit at Grand Strand Regional Medical Center, who's the chairwoman of the 9th Annual Heart Ball. Jennifer, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Incredible event coming up. We know 2003 is the date. It'll be in first quarter. The excitement's raging. I know Todd was just on, the auction chairman. I think he crowned it kind of the premier black tie event on the Strand.
It is. It really is.
What prompted you to chair it a second year, Jennifer?
Well, last year, when Todd and I were actually first-timers last year, so Tammy had her hands full. So I thought, well, I'll give it another go-around, see if I can do a little bit better job than I did last year.
Y'all had a stellar year last year,
We
though.
did. We did really well. We really did. It was phenomenal. Turnout of just people was wonderful.
I think it was the best ever.
That's what I've heard.
And it was at a new venue. I think last year was at Kingston Plantation. It had always been at the Convention Center.
Right.
And the
It was
opportunity
wonderful.
Kingston Plantation provided was spectacular.
They did a fantastic job. We were very, very pleased with the gala last year. Hope it'll be a lot better this year.
Let's hope it'll top it this year even. It's difficult to top incredible events. Jennifer, can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself? Were you originally from the area?
Born in Columbia. I've been down here for 29 years. I got married, actually October of this year was 2 years. My husband is a interventional cardiologist at Grand Strand. That means he does heart catheterizations, he places stents and does angioplasties. I have actually been at Grand Strand for, I'm dating myself here, 12 years. So it's all I've ever known.
And how long have you been in the coronary care unit?
7 years.
Okay.
So I really like it.
So you and your husband clearly have a deep affection for
We
fighting
do.
heart disease and stroke, and surely for the American Heart Association.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Have either you or your husband served on the board here?
No, unfortunately, we have not.
Will the board will have to get you on the Waccamaw Division spanning Horry and Georgetown County. Of course, within our viewing area, we serve 3 or 4 different Heart Association divisions, the PD area, and of course, southeastern North Carolina has another. There's another over in the Wilmington area. It's amazing. All around us are different within this viewing area. There's a heck of a lot. I'm sure there's probably a couple of different heart balls.
Yeah, there are.
But-
Tammy's, bless her heart, she's been actually getting, last year she had the Wilmington Heart Ball and our Heart Ball to put together.
And the heart walk as well. Yeah, amazing.
She's been busy.
Yeah. Can you tell the viewers real quick, Jennifer, some of the differences of being on the coronary care unit versus on different other positions within the church? What's that like?
Well, working in the intensive care unit, the coronary care unit, they come in and they're not fixed. By the time they go to the floors, they're fixed. Almost 100% of the time, if a patient comes in having a heart attack, my husband, if he's on call, will take him to the cardiac catheterization lab, and he can actually intervene and stop the heart attack in progress. Then they come to our unit, they hang out for a few days, and then we send them to the floor. Going to the floor is definitely a good step. You're actually being promoted closer to home. Intensive care is minute by minute. I mean, if you're in intensive care, you need to be. So it's exciting. Unfortunately, we do see a lot of heart disease.
Oh, yeah. And I guess you really see some deaths as well. It must be an amazing, a powerful thing.
It is.
How long have you worked as a registered nurse in this specialized care unit?
Let's see. 7 years. 7 years. Because when I got out of nursing school, I did work on a telemetry floor, and then I did go to the intensive care unit.
Have you seen improvements in treatment resulting from the American Heart Association and their efforts?
Oh, yes, definitely. Just the automatic external defibrillators that are out in the public. I mean, just educating the public alone is a tremendous feat that the American Heart Association has taken on, and they've done a phenomenal job. And, I mean, that's basically what we're all about, is educating the public.
Definitely. So. This is your second year chairing the event. Obviously, it's the 9th annual event here for the Waccamaw Division. Can you tell us anything, tell the viewers anything that got you involved with the event in the first place?
Both of my parents died of heart disease in their 50s.
Oh, God.
So that was a pretty good pride.
Definitely.
I did work on the invitation committee for several years, actually, before chairing the event. So that's my main reason. And plus, too, I mean, I'm a nurse.
Those are huge reasons, very definitely. Your parents' death in particular in their 50s. That's amazing.
Right.
What about some of the events that we have planned for this year's Heart Ball?
Well,
I know there's so many. Obviously, the auction's a big one. We just heard Todd talk about.
The auction is enormous. That's where we make most of our money, and ticket sales, obviously. Todd did a fantastic job last year. I don't know if he told you about some of the auction items. I mean, he had Britney Spears boots.
Oh, I remember vividly. Yeah, I remember.
We had Britney Spears boots, and they sold very well.
I know they did.
They did. I mean,
definitely.
and he got great auction items. I mean, and the volunteers that we have, they're fantastic. I mean, they really work very hard all year.
And you use a key word there, volunteers. That's such a big word. You know, it's so easy to think about all the folks. Tammy's coming on in a second, of course, who's the regional director, who's a paid staffer with the Heart Association. But so many of the folks that interface on a regular basis that make the Heart Ball tick, that make the Ride-a-thon, which was held a couple of weeks ago, or held right now and a couple of weeks ago. It's an amazing event, and all the efforts that go into the Heart Association on a daily basis.
I mean, it's based on volunteer.
Do you have a fundraising goal this year?
$140,000.
Great. Let's hope we surpass it dramatically. How important are volunteers to an event like this?
Oh, it's a necessity, or else it will not take off. I mean, the more volunteers we have, the more successful the event. It's that simple.
Are there some jobs right now that you can perceive that volunteers could fill?
Oh, decoration committee, auction committee, invitation committee. I mean, there's any of those are wonderful.
And if a viewer wanted to volunteer, who would they want to call?
They get in touch with Tammy Eaves at
the Heart Association.
Yeah,
843-626-3939. Obviously, we don't yet know where the event will be held.
Not yet.
There are the Convention Center in the past, Kingston Plantation. There's so many venues on the Strand to take on this key event. I think a lot of venues are probably vying for the opportunity to host the Heart Ball this year. Was such a successful event last year at Kingston.
It's a great event.
And with Jennifer Watson at the helm, it sure makes it a lot easier. The chairperson for the event last year, who's committed herself to not only support the Heart Association, but supporting the fight of heart disease and stroke, she and her husband together, who will be chairing the event again this year. Jennifer, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Lakewood Camping Resort in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 9th Annual American Heart Association Heart Ball, which is coming up in a couple months. And we're visiting with the Regional Director for the Waccamaw Division of the American Heart Association, Tammy Eaves. Tammy, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for inviting me.
Incredible opportunity to think about highlighting the Heart Ball. This is the 9th Annual Ball coming up early next year.
That's right.
Had Todd Harms on, the auction chairman, just had Jennifer Watson on, both of them serving in their second year as auction chairman and chairwoman.
Right.
Amazing commitment on their part to serve the Heart Association, and your service of the Heart Association has been amazing. Tammy, can you tell the viewers a little about yourself? Were you originally from the area?
Yes, I actually grew up in Aner, and I've lived in Horry County most of my life, and worked with the Heart Association for 13 years.
13 years.
Started the Heart Ball 9 years ago, and hope to go for many years to come.
Let's pray so, for many years. Of course, up in the PD region, there is a Heart Ball as well. Now, years ago, you served as regional director of a much larger area other than just Horry and Georgetown County. What was the region you were serving formerly?
When I first started with the Heart Association, my region was actually called the PD region. However, I was located in Myrtle Beach, and there was actually no fundraising activities taking place anywhere except in Myrtle Beach. But I had a 12-county area, which included Florence, Darlington, Chesterfield, Lee County, Sumter County, all the way up to Charleston, and sort of back around that area. It's a 12-county area. And after about 5 years of working with the Heart Association, we grew to the point where we could hire another person, and we opened up an office in Florence. And that person is the PD area director. And then, of course, we changed my title because PD didn't really service the Myrtle Beach as well anyway. I'm more or less a coastal area person, which we called Waccamaw because we already had a coastal area person in Charleston.
Right, in Charleston. So the Waccamaw division's already in Georgetown County. How about the Hart Ball up in the PD area? How long has that been in existence?
It's been in existence the same number of years, 9 years.
Right.
I actually started both of them at the same time and had one in Darlington and one in Sumter and one in Wilmington. I mean, yeah, you know, all those as well. So I was doing 5.
And they have one in Marion as well?
And one in Marion as well.
Tammy Eaves. So think about your service as the regional director now of the Waccamaw division, of course, helping out in Wilmington still and still having a heck of a lot of involvement there. You had a very successful event last year at the Hart Ball, a huge event. Of course, you recently got off the Hart Walk, which was held over the Myrtle Beach Pavilion, and the Horse Ride-a-thon going on in mid-November. Amazing event. Think about all the folks that come in from all over America to be here to ride horses. The real focus is the upcoming Hart Ball. What is a Hart Ball for viewers who don't know anything about the Hart Ball?
It's a black tie gala. We have dinner, a nice dinner, filet mignon, jumbo shrimps, you know, really, really nice formal dinner. And a dance. We have a band, and there's 3 hours of dancing. Of course, we start with a cocktail hour, and we have a silent auction as well as a live auction. So it's a full evening. It starts at 6:30 and ends at midnight. So real festive evening, and people get to dress up in their tuxedos and their beautiful gowns. So it's sort of a real fashion show of the community of people.
It truly is a premier gala, probably the premier gala on the Strand each year. Think of so many events that benefit charities. How does this event, within the other events each year to benefit the Heart Association, how does this stack up against, along with the other events? It's one of your more important events each year.
Oh, yes. It's one of the most important ones in our area, but for South Carolina as well. It's actually the largest fundraiser in Horry County, or Horry, Georgetown County, the Waccamaw area. Last year, we netted $132,000. And of course, we grossed almost $160,000. So that's an incredible amount of money. We hope to net $140,000 this year, and to do that, we'll need to gross around $165,000, somewhere in that area. So it raises a lot of money. The way it stacks out with the whole state of South Carolina is the Columbia Gala is usually the top producing gala, raising last year around $170,000 net. The Charleston Gala coming next at about $155,000, and then we were right after that. So we were the third largest gala in the state of South Carolina last year.
That's amazing, spectacular. How can businesses support this event?
Businesses can buy corporate sponsorships. And in return for that, they get tables reserved for them at the event. Tables can be of 8, 10, 12, whatever they would like to request. And, of course, they would get sponsorship opportunities to be in all of our publicity, advertising, promotions, and things like that pre-event. Right now is a great time for businesses to get in because we haven't started, really promoting the event and printing all of our things. Of course, if somebody comes in at the last minute, we'd like the money, but they wouldn't be able to get all the promotions. So right now it's really a good time. It's also ending a year, so if somebody needs a tax break for this year, then they can make their contribution before December 31, and then of course, if they've already spent their budget for this year, they can get in the first quarter of the next fiscal year. So it's really a good opportunity, whatever your tax situation for your company or individual might be.
Definitely. Do you have volunteers associated with the event each year, Tammy? Obviously, Todd and Jennifer. I'm sure there must be a heck of a lot of other folks volunteering their time. Yeah,
there's a lot of volunteers, and we're very fortunate that the original crew that started this event 9 years ago, most of them have stayed in some capacity on the planning committee, and what they normally do is just shift. Somebody might be in charge of invitations one year, and the next year they do sponsorships, and they just kind of shift around, and which is a great thing because you've got experienced volunteers. It's wonderful this year to have both Jennifer and Todd returning because they learned a lot of things last year, and now they are experienced, and they'll bring a lot of new ideas that they couldn't bring to it, not knowing what they were exactly getting into last year. But we need lots of volunteers. If there's anybody that's watching that would like to volunteer, if they would give me a call, then we can talk about where they would fit in, invite them to a meeting, and they can see there's all kinds of things that they can do, whether it be asking for money, asking for auction items, might just like to be decorate. We do a lot of decorations at this event. Somebody might just say, I can't really do any of that, but I can address invitations. And you give them invitations and we hand address them, and there's just all kinds of things for any type of volunteer.
To volunteer your time or volunteer your resources or to be a sponsor at any level or buy tickets, you can call Tammy and her staff at 843-626-3939. The Heart Ball's getting close, so give a call quick. Thanks again for being with us this morning, Tammy.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. We want to send a big thanks out to the Perry family and Lakewood Camping Resort, as well as to Tammy Eaves and all the staff and volunteers of the American Heart Association for making Carolina People such a great success.